There you go then. Liverpool have been beaten 4-0 by Mainz, Klopp's former club, of course. Oh, man, it was terrible to watch, wasn't it? Truly terrible to watch. I mean, as a football game, as a Liverpool fan, anyone can tell you from the outside that, you know, it's a pre-season friendly and it doesn't matter, but I just hate seeing my team lose at the end of the day. And look, I'm not going to get carried away with anything here. It's, you know, we've beaten Barcelona yesterday 4-0. I don't think we're going to win the league because of that friendly. And equally, you know, we've lost to Mainz 4-0. Doesn't mean we're going to get relegated this season, does it? Ultimately, it's a strange one because we've only had this one time before, haven't we, where we can look at a weekend's fixtures and go, there's 2 games in 2 days there. How do you judge that? I mean, as a football fan, I'm used to being able to judge a performance once a week because you know about that, don't you? You know how you deal with that. How do you judge how a squad should perform in the second game of 2 on 24 hours when a lot of players, you know, were fresh and stuff, but, you know, the likes of Matip who's coming back from injury. Then you've got players who are involved, who were involved the day before, and how did they deal with it? I mean, the flight's obviously not that long to Germany, but, you know, it's not normal. It's not the right type of rest. You don't normally have that time for recuperation, or you don't have time for recuperation like you normally would. So it's a really bizarre one. I mean, look, there's some terrible defending going on there. Andre Wisdom was clear as day, probably for me the worst defender on the pitch by a country mile. Moreno was giving him a run for his money in the first half. For me, I expressed concerns on Twitter over Matip's decision making. I'm not saying he's at fault for any of the goals because I don't think he would be, but I think if you take out external factors and look at what just Matip's role was for each of those things, you know, their second goal, for example, right, Matip is covering for Wisdom. That is absolutely fine. I totally understand it. Wisdom's position is atrocious, but I'm taking that out of it. And then I'm looking at Matip and going, all right, his job is to get the man and force him wide. Now, Manigat is at fault for the goal, ultimately, at the end of the day as well, because he's conceded near post. But could Matip have done better? There was an opportunity where he basically got stiff-armed, where he should have got in and got tackling. I think if it was Mamadou Sakho, you'd have seen the slide and tackle. If it was Dejan Lovren, you'd have seen the slide and tackle. For me, that would have raised the concern. And then the second goal, where he backs off and starts looking like Martin Skittle, again, it raised the concern. Then the fourth goal, header near post. Again, he's Wisdom's man. You know, I'm not going to say he's not, but that near post needs to be covered by the near side centre back as well. So, you know, not a great game for Matip. I still trust that he'll turn it round. I trust that Jurgen Klopp wouldn't have signed him if this was his level of performance, quite frankly. But, you know, he is closer to the first team than Andre Wisdom. Andre Wisdom, I'd be very surprised after the last couple of performances that he's put in if he is still there. If we manage to get some centre-back covering in any way, shape or form. Moving on to the midfield and stuff, how do you judge that game? I mean, you know, Woodburn's come in, he's not really had the opportunities. No one really looked great going forwards, did they? I think, you know, we massively struggled. Danny Ings probably had a goal chalked off that was actually a great finish from a position where he wasn't offside. He looked level to me on the replay anyway, but I don't know, it's hard, isn't it? I don't think that game matters. I think that the Barcelona game probably did matter slightly more to us. I think that's in itself, that's probably a bad line to take as well. Because, look, when you're playing in just the league and a couple of cup competitions, those 38 games in the league all matter as much as each other. And I think, you know, you can't be having players shifting focus from game to game. But ultimately, this is a weird situation we're in. You're not normally seeing 2 games in 24 hours. Let me know your thoughts. It's a really interesting one. How should we be viewing this weekend's fixtures? Let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a button. Yeah, it's one of these corners. You think I'd know by now. But I'm doing a quick time recording on the computer, so it could be in any corner. I really have no idea. And thank you very much for watching. Leave your thoughts, as I said, in the comment section below.